My name is Joy Mclaughlin. I am a member of the Hispanic League, and I am on the executive board and chair of the scholarship committee. I'm on the education committee and the parent enrichment program committee. And this is very important to me to be talking to you about the history of the scholarships. I began my career as a French teacher and realized quickly that I should have majored in Spanish because later on it would have been very useful. I stopped teaching to raise my children until they were school age. I got a call from a friend of mine who said, "How would you like to do some tutoring in English as a second language?" English as a second language, it's a new field, and there are many, many refugee children coming to the United States from Southeast Asia, and this would be in the high school, which is something you're familiar with, and they're going to use some grant funds to pay for tutors for these youngsters to get along in American high school. So I went to work at Reynolds High School and quickly realized that this was where I was supposed to be. It was my niche. Teaching these refugee children who are coming here with no English and with a lot of PTSD, post-traumatic stress, and having been through some very, very difficult circumstances became very important to me. I had done a lot of work in youth ministry in the church and felt like this was where my world's meant, being able to minister to youth and also teach them English, which was the key to their success in this country. When I began teaching ESL, my worldview was very narrow. And every student I taught came from a different part of the world. There were probably 12 or 13 different languages in my classroom. Every student that I taught, I got to know very, very well. I got to know not just the student, but their cultures of origin. And that to me really was amazing. I would read about the countries, the history of the country, talk to the students, get to know their parents, their food, their culture. And it was like traveling the world without ever leaving my classroom. Around 1998, the majority of my students were from Mexico and other Spanish-speaking countries in Central and South America. And what I realized was that probably 90% of my students were not legally here, nor were they citizens of the United States. And yet they were in high school making excellent grades and unable to access higher education because of their legal status. Day after day, I saw their frustration, and I kept wondering what could be done about this. How could we help them? They were really privileged to go to high school by their parents, who really needed them at home working, and so it was a sacrifice on the part of the parents for them to come to school at all. And the main purpose of their coming at that time was just to learn English. I knew that the Hispanic League was a newly formed organization by executives and employees of Sara Lee who came from Central America and other Spanish-speaking countries. They had formed the league, started a fiesta that was a cultural celebration, and then they also had a gala every year, and it was more social, but it was a fundraiser for the organization. I got the idea that maybe if I went to the board and explained the situation, that they might come forward to help some of my students. I went to the board, I asked them if they would help the students, explained the situation, and they said yes. And I was so surprised that they were so willing, and they said, that'll be fine. If you would like to join our board, you can be the person who is spearheading this initiative to write a scholarship. So I said, fantastic. I said, first of all, if we award a scholarship, there can be no favoritism. They knew of a company that could work for us and not show any favoritism. We'd send applications to them. They would make the decisions. They were willing to give 2 scholarships to start out with in the year 2000. And the criteria for the scholarship were financial need, of course, but also there was no requirement for citizenship. It did not ask about legal status. So we started the scholarship, gave 2 scholarships initially in the year 2000. And that was the beginning. Now we have 50 scholars this year. We have 504 scholarships in all that have been awarded over these years. There's been more than $1 million in scholarship funds that have been awarded to the students. This is probably the most important aspect of all of this, is that I have seen so many students who have come back and said, I could never have done this without this scholarship. The confidence that the league had in me, the contact, and so on. Just this past year, the president of our board was a former scholarship recipient, Liz Roma Kelly, and she has gone on as a professional to do wonderful things, and her leadership with the league was stellar. In addition to that, the first scholarship winner, one of the 2, Luli Beckles, she has gone on to get her master's degree from Wake Forest School of Medicine this past year. And there are many others, who have become professionals beyond anyone's expectation or anyone's idea of what they could do. I'm hoping that you all will get a chance to see some of these students face to face in video and see what they have accomplished. I am so humbled by what has happened because I feel like it was something bigger than I am. The league has supported this initiative for so long. I'm just humbled because it's involved so many people to make this happen. And I think it's really the heart of the Hispanic League. So this is why I continue to be chair of the scholarship committee and encourage students to apply for the scholarship and to do all that they can to be successful.